Good day. Did you miss me? It's been a little while. So we had a thing come up today. One of our associates called and started quizzing me on the advantages or how to work with 72-hour conditional sale clauses. My own personal opinion of these, they should be outlawed, they should be banned, they should never be used, period. A 72-hour clause does absolutely nothing for the benefit of your client when you're representing the seller. And let me go on to tell you why. Number one, they rarely work. If the person is serious about selling their house, they should get it on the market and get it sold. It's not in the best interest of your client because it gives them a false expectation that their house is going to be sold, and in reality, most of the times they don't work. If, and it's a big if, you do have a 72-hour clause with a 48 or 72-hour time frame, you could lose a really serious qualified buyer because they'll want to wait 2 or 3 days to find out they're not going to get the house. They're going to go buy a house. So there's just no upside. And even worse, you have no control. And when you don't have control in a real estate transaction, you have nothing. You always must have control. So in a 72-hour clause, you have no control over the asking price of the other house. You have no control over the condition that other house is in. You have no control over how flexible and easy it is for realtors to show it. You could be just stepping into a quicksand. So, but I have a solution. Okay, don't always want to give you the gears and tell you what not to do without a good solution. The best thing to do in a circumstance, in fact, in my listing presentation, I always do this. Not pull a ear, but I always do this. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I want to talk to you about conditional sale clauses. Okay? Now, let's say that I'm on my way over to your house to present an offer to you, and I get smoked by a bus. All right? And one thing I can tell you for sure, always, you get a look at that offer and it says anything about subject to the sale of my house, just refuse it. Best advice I could ever give you. I'm laying in a ditch somewhere. You got to make a decision. Do not take the offer. Now, the solution. It's called an offer to sell. All right? Realtors don't like it. That's why it's so good. So you get an offer on your listing, and it's subject to the sale of the house. 2 things. Number one is you say to the realtor, hey, I'd really like to go look at that house. Find out if you're dealing with somebody that's actually serious, and find out what price they're going to be asking for it. Number 2 is you counter with an offer to sell. And what is an offer to sell? An offer to sell, quite simply, is an offer from the seller to the buyer. All right? So this is how you do it. You set, just like you'd write a regular offer, except there are no conditions. In other words, you counter it, and let's just say the price you agreed on is $400,000, whatever that price is. You counter at $400,000, and to keep them serial, get $2,500 initial deposit, so they have to put up some money, and an additional $5,000. Like you should, on a $400,000 house, you should get $10,000 deposit. So let's just use initial deposit of $3,000, additional deposit of $7,000 within 48 hours of this offer being accepted. All right, and that's the key. The additional deposit, the original deposit must show up within 2 business days of, put the date in there. So 2 business days from today. All right, because when we do an offer to sell, we're going to leave the offer to sell open for 30 days for their acceptance. That's the key point here. So we need to get that initial deposit up front to get their money. All right. So the additional deposit will come within 3 business days or 48 hours after they have accepted the offer. When I say there's in possession date, can be to be determined, to be negotiated, could be within, just put in to be determined, okay? And then, because at the end of the day, you're actually not going to be using this contract. This contract is just to set the parameters and to get the buyer serious. So it's unconditional, and you leave it open for acceptance for I don't care how long, 30 days, 3 months, 3 years, it doesn't matter. All right. And the benefit of this is it puts all of the pressure back onto where it should be, and that's the buyer. Now, if the buyer is serious, okay, so the biggest thing is you've given them a price, and everything else will work its way out. So what I tell other realtors is, hey, we're going to give you an offer to sell. I know it's unconditional, and I know it's open for a month, but this way we have control of the transaction. And then I say, now, my best advice to you is get your client's house on the market, get it on at a good price. Once you get an offer on it, come back to us with an offer that says subject to the final sale of your client's house. Completely different ballgame than subject to the sale of. Subject to the final sale of means you're probably looking at 2 weeks. All right. So if that happens, then you withdraw the offer to sell. You just cancel it, and you negotiate with the new offer that's subject to the final sale. Then, of course, you don't want to find out all pertinent information about their offer on their house. So the offer to sell takes place of a 72-hour clause, and if you can always avoid the 72-hour clause. There is no upside. If you have any questions, comments, look me up. Okay, have a great day. I'm going to follow up with a video on Plan A and Plan B. Now, I think I've done this before, but I couldn't find it, so I'm going to do it because it's fairly important. Thanks.